Hey friends, welcome to a Q&A session. I wanted to wash my grapes and share that with you and answer some of your questions. Since I have to stand here and wash these grapes, I might as well do it with you and answer some of your questions while I'm doing it. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to post them in the chat. I'm going to be dealing with all my grapes. So these are cotton candy grapes. We just got these, they're organic cotton candy, so delicious. And we got these because Nate has some recipes in his nice cream book that he wants to test out using cotton candy grapes. So we bought these, but they have to be frozen, so we gotta wash them first. And again, since it's gonna take me a little bit of time to go through these, I thought might as well come on and do a live with you and hang out together. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask and I will check to see. Aside from that, I hope everyone's having a great day. We had a really busy weekend. I was filming the Course Creator Academy modules with Ted Carr live with our students. So that was most of the weekend. I shot newborn photos for our friend. And yeah, just like a really big weekend. So it's nice to just be a little bit more chill right now and hang with you guys. Let's see here. Starting plant-based diet, any advice for newbies? That's a great question. So first up, I'm going to add some water to our grapes. There we go. I might add a little more. And then I have this Norwex Fruit and Veggie Wash. And I'm just going to, actually I'm just gonna pour it in here. Don't need a lot at all. So we have a party going on right now for Norwex, and I think today is the last day to order. So this is the fruit and veg wash that I use. This is our fruit and veg scrubby cloth. We've got over there those little blue ones. These are the counter cloths with the silver in them to help with trapping bacteria so your cloths don't stink. You don't have to use paper towel, you just use those to clean up. But if you guys want to order, please send me a direct message and I'll send you the link to grab those. Again, this is, I think, one of the last days of our party. So we'll start another one at the end of the month. So if you want those products, just let me know. But yeah, so, oh, there's a ladybug. Oh my gosh, and she's still alive. Look, you guys. Oh, hello, little ladybug. Precious. I am going to put her in a little cup for right now. There you go. And probably put some leaves in there just so she's got something to play around with. There we go. Oh, sweet little ladybug. All right. I'll take her outside when we're done the live. So anyways, so we've got this water is already getting really dirty. We keep this fruit and veg wash. We have another bottle that we keep in the truck with our, a bowl like this, not as big, just a smaller bowl, but a silver bowl, and we have like a little net, and we have a jug of water. So we keep that in the truck in case we stop off somewhere and have to buy fruit or we're hungry or whatever. We can just wash it really quickly in the truck. So that's something that we do. But so starting advice for anyone starting out on a plant-based diet. Well, for one, a plant-based diet, the number one thing obviously is to get rid of all animal products. And so cheese, meat, eggs, and it's hidden in everywhere. So start learning what ingredients to look for on the back of labels. if you are not doing fully raw diet, if you're just doing cooked foods, it's best to stick with just the plain old simple stuff like potatoes, you know, grains, rice, beans, fruits and vegetables. Obviously, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And then with time, you can gradually increase your raw and decrease your cooked food if you want to go higher raw. Ideally, you want to keep your fat on the low end and eat a lot of produce. The simpler, the better. Whole food, plant-based, low fat, that's ideal. And just get way more fruits and veggies in to your diet. So yeah, that's what I would do first, is get rid of those animal products. And then you can move into the more raw area. But with the plant-based diet, obviously it's going to be really difficult as a newbie, especially if your family's not on board. So remembering that this is what you want to do for you, it's special for you. Like, I'm standing here doing these grapes because I want to. This is something that I want to do for me and for Nate as well, because these are mostly for him, but I'm going to have some too. But we're doing these for ourselves. It's like an act of self-love to eat clean and eat healthfully. And yeah, so if you're starting out, first up, give up those animal products, eat more whole foods. I know there's a lot of transitional foods out there, which are really great for transition, but remember, the word transition means that you are practicing today what you're going to choose tomorrow. So if you're transitioning over to a vegan diet and you're giving up cheese, say cheese is the last thing that you've got left to give up, and you go to a restaurant and you sit down and you see all the stuff that's there to order, and you're like, well, I'm transitioning, so I'll still get this cheese. That's not actually transitioning. Transitioning is practicing being a vegan or choosing plant-based. So when you're at the restaurant, you're practicing choosing vegan meals or vegan options. So you want to choose something that is not going to have the cheese in it. It's not about saying, oh, I'm in transition, then I'm just going to eat cheese anyways. The transitional aspect of it is basically using up what you have left in the fridge. So if you have a big brick of cheese and then all of a sudden one day you're like, oh, I need to go vegan or I need to be plant-based, then use up the cheese that's left in your fridge or give it to neighbors or whatever. That is the transition, because you're just going to use up what you have and then make different choices going forward. So I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, just don't hesitate to write them in here. I'm gonna see what else we've got here. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm eating green grapes too. Awesome. If grapes are organic but seedless, don't buy. I'm not a seed police. I don't care if there aren't seeds in them. I'd honestly rather get the nutrition and the calories than worry if there's seeds or not. Obviously, it's better to get the ones with the seeds, but if all you can get are seedless, then get the seedless. It's much better than junk food or processed foods or heavy cooked foods or high fat or anything like that. Like, I think the seed thing it's almost like it can make you go insane if you're trying way too hard to be super perfect and everything has to have seeds in it. I personally can't go that route because I feel like I suck if I can't get seedless grapes or seeded grapes. I don't want to feel that way. I want to be proud of my choices, whether or not they're perfect in someone else's eyes, or if somebody says you have to buy seeded grapes, otherwise they're toxic. I don't think that's I don't think that's a really healthy way of looking at it. Again, if you can find seeded grapes, go for it. Obviously, they're going to be really good, but if you can't, then don't feel bad that you can't. I mean, I'd rather see people eat food than starve just because they can't be perfect or they can't get this or that or the other thing. Do what you can with what you have in the area that you are. So, and then eat the seeds. Cotton candy grapes are delicious. Agreed. I love the cotton candy grapes. So good. And they're going to be really good in ice cream. Veggie Wash, don't use. I use this Veggie Wash. I use the Veggie Wash. It's really good. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. Totally your prerogative. This is the product that we use and we love it. You can use baking soda, you can use vinegar, but I find this product works really well. The water is really grungy, if you can see. It's pretty ew, so yeah. But it's totally up to you. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but this is just what I use. What time is it? It is, right now, it's just after noon. What is the name of the Veggie Wash, please? It's by a company called Norwex. Norwex. And if you want to get some of that, send me a message and I'll send you a link. Water is the best wash. Yes, obviously there's water in here, but to get all it, like it's gross, you guys. It's gross. And this is non-toxic. It's really good. It's enzyme based. It's natural. It's not like a toxic thing. So again, do what you guys want. It's all up to you. Not telling anyone what to do, obviously. Where can I buy disinfectant for veggies? You can use water if that's what you want to use. But I like to use this. It's an enzyme. It breaks down any pesticides and stuff like that. But also washing your fruits and vegetables actually extends their life. And if you have a huge fruit stash like this, woohoo, we've got lots of fruit here. It's really a good idea to wash your produce, because when you wash your produce, you get rid of any bacteria that could promote rotting. So I like to wash everything. Plus, if I wash everything when I bring it into the house, it also decreases the amount of fruit flies that could be potential, because they lay their eggs in the little nooks and crannies. And then when they rot, that's where they suddenly appear from. So if you can wash your fruits and veggies, that actually really helps to extend your shelf life of your fruits and veggies and helps control fruit flies. Suggestions about wines. Great question. I actually don't drink wine anymore. I used to drink wine every day. When I was with my ex, we actually made our own wine, traditional Italian way with the press and everything. But I decided to become sober 6 years ago, so I no longer consume wine. Now, if you want to, that's your prerogative, obviously. But if you were to do that, I would look for vegan, organic wine that is preferably made the traditional style in the fruit press, not from a concentrate kit or anything. You're using fresh fruit to make your wines. We made lots of good stuff in the day, but eating out is so hard. Everything vegan has beans, legumes, which I don't eat. Any strategies? That's a really good question. So when I go out to eat, first up, I always eat before I go. Obviously, because the salads at most places are pretty small and fairly expensive. So I don't normally go out for the restaurant. I go out because somebody's asked me to go out, or maybe I'm like really hungry and we got to stop somewhere to eat. But aside from that, we eat out very, very, very rarely. I don't really, it's kind of like, it's old. It's old to me now. I prefer the food that I make. I feel like I like it better and I know exactly what I like to eat. But if I do go out, there are some things that I like to do. I like to show them a picture of my salad. I'm like, you guys have to make a really big salad. And a lot of places are really cool about it. They'll be like, yeah, for sure. We can make you that big salad, and they'll bring out a big, huge, giant salad. I also tell them I only want raw fruits and vegetables on it. So I'm like, what do you have in the back? And they'll let me know. And it's like lots of lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, sprouts. Sometimes restaurants have sprouts. And then for the dressing, I either bring my own. So I have like a little jar. I wonder if I have any up here. No, I don't. It's a small one. It's a small one like this with a lid. Just a little mason jar. I'll put a little bit of dressing in there that I can pour on my salad at the restaurant if I know ahead of time. If not, My second go-to for dressing is half of an avocado and lemon juice and black pepper. So I'll mix that in a little bowl and then I'll add it to my salad, and I have a really, really delicious salad at a restaurant. And again, I don't go to restaurants for the food. I go for the people. I go for who is there with me. And I've really come to the acceptance that it just isn't a part of my life anymore. And that takes time. It really does. It's hard to give up restaurants because it's something that's really embedded in our culture and who we are and our friendships and our social stuff. But I always try to find things to do with my friends that don't involve going out to eat. Like I'll make them a salad and we'll go hike up to the top of a mountain or go for a picnic or something, and we'll do that instead of spending a crazy amount of money. We do still go out here and there. You guys have seen us sometimes. I would say like once every 2 months we'll go out somewhere, maybe. Sometimes it's more often, but for the most part, on average, that's about how often we go out. And when we do go out, it's to a raw vegan restaurant or a vegan restaurant that knows how to make raw stuff. So we'll just we pick and choose. Like if we go to a salad bar, we know exactly what to get. We just put our own dressing, or we do avocado. So I hope that helps. Let's see. I like that you're giving people healthy, attainable outlook on healthy living. No one is perfect. Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you for mentioning that. The thing is, I've noticed through my 5.5 years here on social media, there's all kinds of ideas about how to eat and what to do and who to be and all of that. And in the past, I've also felt this, like if I can't be perfect, then why bother, right? Let's go back to eating the chips and the pop and it's just too hard, so I'm not even gonna bother. I'm gonna just throw something in the oven or whatever, or I can't find seeded grapes, so I might as well just go eat whatever. So I found that through the years, it's actually easier to do the best that you can than trying to force yourself into a perfect box that someone else thinks that you should be in. And that's probably the most toxic mindset when it comes to perfectionism, is trying to be super pristine perfect, and no one can be super pristine perfect. It doesn't exist. So don't bother trying. Just do better than you did yesterday. Make the best choices that you can today. Make those choices because that's what's going to get you forward, not trying to be pristinely perfect or fast for 40 days or eat only seeded grapes for a year or whatever it is. These things are not sustainable long-term when you're doing extreme things. You want to find balance. You want to find a way to make this your daily life. You need to find a way to eat healthfully every single day. And that is not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Nate and I are not perfect. No one is perfect. Yes, we eat grapes with no seeds in it. Yes, we sometimes have oranges that don't have seeds in them. We're going to use products that someone else might not want to use, but that doesn't matter because we're better than we were yesterday. And that's all that matters. I lost all my weight. I cleared up my skin. I healed my joint pain. I feel amazing because of the daily choices that I make every day. And though they are not perfect in someone else's eyes, they're perfect for me right now in the situation that I'm in and all of that put together. So please, please, please don't feel shamed or guilty or feel regretful for any of those decisions that you make in your moment that are not the way someone else thinks that you should eat or be or do or anything, because it's all about inspiration and being motivated to make better choices. And we don't want to feel shamed or guilted into anything. And I'm so over that. In the beginning, I was guilted and shamed over eating garlic and onions. Garlic and onions. Garlic and onions have inulin in them. They feed your good bacteria. I don't have digestive issues. I have awesome bowel movements. I will get gas if I sit for 4 hours after I eat, just like anybody else would. Even when I'm eating a mono fruit meal, if I sit for long hours, I can get gas because you have to move your body after you eat. And these are little tweaks that you'll find throughout your path, your journey. And we're not perfect. We're not perfect. If somebody thinks that I shouldn't eat garlic or onions, that's their opinion. But I'm going to eat garlic and onions, and I'm probably going to eat them till the day I die because I love them so much. And it's working for me. I love them, and I feel great on them. You'll know if it's not for you if you eat it and you feel an upset stomach, or you feel like throwing up, or you get a crazy rash or something like that. That's when you know your body is sensitive to something. And then you just eliminate it for a little while, add it back to see if it still does that. Maybe try an organic version because you might be reacting to pesticides, not necessarily the food itself. But I don't feel that it's a horrible thing to eat something natural, even if it's garlic or onions. And again, like I said, I was like ridiculed back in the day because I ate garlic. And it's like, but I want to eat garlic. And here I am still eating raw food every single day. And many of those people are not. So it doesn't matter. You have to do what you need to do to stay on a sustainable, consistent, abundant lifestyle. So that's my little soapbox rant for the day. Let's see, what kind of water filter do you use? We don't have a specific water filter right now. We are just using the one that's on our fridge. It's a brand new fridge. It's got a water filter in it. But I do want to get one with the minerals, like the zeolite or whatever. I need to do some research on which one we want to get, and we'll make that decision together. But for right now, we don't worry about it. We just do the filter from the fridge. It's pretty good. Our city waters is really, really good actually. So we're not too concerned about that. How much time do you spend a day preparing all your food? Excellent question. In the morning, our breakfast takes about 2 or 3 minutes. If we are doing a smoothie, it's really just 2 or 3 minutes to blend that. So that's pretty easy. And then for lunch, that takes me probably about 3 minutes to blend my dressing, and then maybe 10 minutes to chop my lettuce for that. And then it depends on what we're doing for dinner. Sometimes dinner can take a little bit longer, like 20, 25, or even 30 minutes to make. It depends. It also depends if I'm recording stuff for you guys. Like if I set up my little camera here and I do a time lapse of me chopping, or if I do a video, or I'm sharing like Instagram, or I'm creating a TikTok, that's definitely gonna take a lot more time. Like a 10-minute lunch salad can end up being like 35 or 40 minutes to prepare because I'm filming for you guys. So it's a little skewed in my arena, but if I'm not filming or anything and I'm really zone focused in what I'm doing, probably about 12 or 13 minutes for lunch, and I'd say 20 minutes or so for dinner. It really depends on what we make. Sometimes dinner's only 10 minutes. Again, depends on what we make. And it depends if we make dressing ahead of time. Like sometimes we'll make extra dressing and then we keep it in the fridge and we just have it the next day for lunch. So that saves us a little bit of time as well. But it really doesn't take a lot of time, and especially if we're doing like mono meals, like I have all these pairs. Once these are ready, when they're ready to go, I'll eat like 6 for lunch or 8 for lunch. There's mangoes, I'll eat 8 of those for lunch. Sometimes, not all the time. For the most part, I'm eating 2 salads a day. So I do my fruit smoothie in the morning, and then I do snacks of fruit throughout the morning. So again, pears, mangoes, there's melons here, pineapple, bananas, all kinds of fruit. I'll just snack on what's available, grapes as well. And then for lunch, I do my fruiting vegetable salad. It's a low-fat salad with lots of romaine, tomatoes, cucumbers, that kind of thing, with a lower fat dressing. And then dinner is typically has fats in the dressing, and it's normally a darker green, sometimes not, but if we're doing kale or spinach or chard or wraps or anything like that, that's with dinner with the higher fat dressing. But otherwise, if I'm hungry between lunch and dinner or after dinner, it's fruit. It's always, always, always fruit for snacks. And that's how I roll. So I hope that helped. Thanks for the tips. You're very, very welcome. I'm glad these tips are helping you. What do you think about açaí, camu, and other superfoods? Great question. The only superfood that we use is the Daily Green Boost. We don't use it every day. We use it when we remember to use it. It's like maybe a couple times a week we'll sprinkle some on our salads, but that's the only superfood we use. You definitely can use them if you want to. I don't feel that they're completely necessary. They're devoid of fiber and hydration. So those are the two kind of things that I reasons why I don't really do a lot of that stuff, because the reason I eat is to get the fiber and the hydration and of course the nutrition. But when you're doing a powder or something, there's no fiber in there and there's no hydration. Yes, you're drinking water, but it's not the same. If you eat this grape, the water in this grape is used differently in the body than a raisin. And you're drinking the water with the raisin. It's used totally differently. They call it gel water, and it's the special way that the water is formed and synergistically in fresh, raw foods. That's why it's so effective at hydrating you. They did a study where they had 2 groups of people. One group was eating a long English cucumber. The other group was drinking just like a glass of water, the same amount of water that would be in the cucumber. The group that ate the cucumber was 2 times more hydrated than the group that drank just the water. So there's something to be said about the magic in the water that's in fresh produce. Nature knew exactly what it was doing. So that's why I feel so much more hydrated on a raw diet, because I'm not eating a lot of dried foods. I also, because we don't eat breads or pastas or cereals or cakes or crackers or anything like that, we do sometimes do dehydrated ones, but it's very rare, and I always feel dehydrated after eating those. The body actually steals water from itself to help digest those dried foods. And even if you drink water with it, it's not the same digestion. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're going to choose dried foods, remember that is actually taking water from you. So it looks like we've got these grapes almost ready to go. This water, can you guys see this water? I'm going to pull it up here so you can see. Look at that dirty water. It's pretty intense. And these grapes didn't even really look that dirty either when we bought them. Thank you for that. Love garlic. Oh yes, yay to garlic and onion, me too. Garlic and onion for life. Oh yes, garlic and onion. See, everyone here is loving garlic and onion. I can't smell garlic. Oh, that's interesting. I love garlic and ice cream. Thank you for answering my question. You're very welcome, Juice Parents. Do you cleanse the fruits and veggies with baking soda? I used to, and I still do occasionally, but because we have this new Norwex stuff that we found, I found it works better. I like it better, so that's why we choose it. It's just a personal preference, but you can certainly use baking soda. Make sure that you get organic baking soda. I think Bob's Red Mill is the only baking soda that isn't GMO. I can't remember, don't quote me on that. But I think Bob's Red Mill baking soda is the only one that isn't GMO. So if you're concerned about that, then definitely don't do like the Arm & Hammer or any of that. Just bought your meal plan books last night. Super excited. I'm on a juice cleanse right now. I am so excited for you to try some awesome raw recipes. Oh, thank you so much for the support. And again, you guys, if you want to get 40% off those ebooks, you can use code Immunity2020 and go to the link in my bio. It says all ebooks, and you can enter that to get 40% off any of those books. And I'm also giving away a free copy of my printed version of Meal Plan 3. If you make one of my recipes and you tag me in your stories, then you're entered to win that. I'm giving that away on Saturday night, June 20th. So what are your thoughts about juice cleansing? That's a great question. Many of you guys know that I'm not very pro. I'm not against it, because there's stories out there that people heal and everything, but I don't think that the vast majority of people need to do juice fasts. I think that getting your foundation down is way more important than doing a juice cleanse, because a juice cleanse is just a small amount of time that you are not bombarding your body with foods that are burdening you. But the real challenge is to eat sustainably and consistently long term. That's the ultimate challenge. And that is the foundation that you need to get down first. And then you don't even need a detox. I never did a juice fast the entire almost 6 years that I've been raw. No juice fasting, no water fasting, nothing happening over here. And I healed all of my things. I lost 70 pounds. I cleared up my acne. My hormones are all stabilized. I have monthly cycles now, whereas since I was 13 until the age 34, I would go 3 to 9 months without a period, and when I would get one, it would be incredibly painful. But since going raw, no juice fasting, no water fasting. I know some people need to do that, which is totally fine. I'm not here to tell you what to do or what not to do. I'm just sharing my own opinion on it. I don't think the vast majority of people need to do juice fasts. They just need to get that foundation and stick to it. Stick to that consistent foundation so that you can have that for the rest of your life. It's about eating clean, abundantly, and not depriving your body. I see too many people experience metabolic damage, especially women. Metabolic damage or disordered eating patterns happen after a lot of cravings. They're not eating enough. And yes, they feel good while they're on the juice fast and maybe when they start to break it, but the issues happen later on down the road. So just something to be aware of. Again, just sharing my opinion. Again, everyone's gonna do what they want to do, but that's why I personally choose not to juice fast. The only 2 times that I will ever juice fast in the future, or water fast per se, would be, if juice fasting I wouldn't do anyways because I could just eat the food. But the only times that I would fast in the future would be, number 1, if there was a legit famine. Like if I could not get anything, not even potatoes, I'd rather eat potatoes, honestly, than fast. But if I can't get anything, if there's no food anywhere, then I would fast until I was able to get food. The second reason that I would fast would be if I genuinely felt disgusted and physically ill at the thought of food. So I have this beautiful bowl of organic cotton candy grapes, one of my favorite grapes. And if I was looking at this bowl and I was like dizzy and lightheaded and like, ugh, like I really can't eat that right now, I just cannot eat that. That's my body saying I don't want that right now. But if I'm looking at this bowl of fruit and I'm like, oh man, I really want that, but I'm on a fast, I can't. That I don't think is a good idea, because the body wants energy. It's a fruit, it's not bad, and it's not burdening the digestion. I feel like our heart doesn't ever get a break. Our lungs never get a break. Our kidneys never get a break. Our digestion never gets a break. We don't need to give it a break. That's just all up here. It's a challenge. We want to do the challenge. We want to try and heal certain things. And again, yes, I'm not saying that juice fasting is bad overall. There are a lot of people who get benefit from it. But again, for the vast majority of people, all they have to do is get that foundation down right, and then they don't even need to juice fast. So I hope you guys enjoy that little chatty chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I love this. Okay, let's see. Thank you for answering my questions. Let's see. We've got, are raisins a good substitute for dates, smoothies? Yes, raisins are actually a really good substitute for dates. I also use dried figs or dried apricots. Those are great alternatives as well. And if you don't want to do the dried fruit, then you could do things like mangoes. Add some mangoes instead of dates. Fresh is best, obviously, to get that hydration. But if you don't have any dates or can't get them, try to get raisins. If you get raisins though, maybe try to look for unsulfured and oil-free, because a lot of raisins have sunflower oil in them to prevent them from sticking together. So those are 2 things to look for. Again, if you can't find them and that's the only thing that's there, then go for it. It's not the end of the world. You're not gonna die. So, hello from India. Hello. Let's see. Romania, France. Hello, you guys. This is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Which book would you recommend I get first? Good question. Again, 40% off code is Immunity 2020 if you want to get ebooks at 40% off. Link in my bio, all ebooks. The best books I would say for beginners would be either Dips and Dressings or Meal Plan Volume 3. The reason why I say these 2 is because Meal Plan Volume 3 has no nuts involved. So a lot of people were telling me that they have allergies to nuts or sensitivities to nuts. So I made that meal plan nut-free. The fats that are in that meal plan are avocado, young coconut, and seeds. So chia, sunflower, sesame, that kind of thing. So no nuts are involved in there. And if you want, if you can't find young coconut, you can use sunflower seeds and zucchini. That's pretty decent kind of replacement. You're not going to get the same texture or flavor, but it's a good replacement if you can't find young coconut. The other reason why I say Meal Plan 3 is great for beginners is because there's no dehydrator required. So none of the recipes need a dehydrator. You can use one if you want to, obviously for the marinating ones, but otherwise you don't need it. So it's a really great recipe book for beginners, as well as the dips and dressings is a really great book for ideas on what to put on your salads. So there's 117 dips and dressing recipes in there. 48 of them are no fat, 24 or so are low fat, so just seeds and young coconut, and then the rest, there's like 20 or 40, I can't remember how many, that have higher fat, so cashews, nuts, avocado. So it's split up into 3, so you can choose recipes based on what you need. And yeah, those are the 2 that I would recommend. My third would be Meal Plan 2, just because there's some really epic recipes in that one. But otherwise, yeah, Meal Plan 1 is getting a revamp next year. So if you want to get that one next year, once I have the revamp, then that would be when I would get those ones. Yes, it is the ultimate challenge. Totally, when I was talking about the ultimate challenge being having a consistent, daily, abundant, sustainable diet long term with, you're not cheating on stuff, you're not overeating, you're not undereating, everything is balanced and homeostatic. That is the ultimate challenge. A 7-day or 10-day or 12-day juice fast isn't really that big of a challenge when you look at your whole life being trying to get and find that balance, eating naturally, eating clean, whole food, plant-based, high raw. I'm so inspired by you right now. Thank you so much. You're so very welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad that I could share a little inspiration with you today. I think it's so hard to know how much you should eat when you change to raw food. How much you should eat when you change to raw food? That's a really good question too. A lot of us don't know how much to eat when we go raw. The reason is because we're so used to eating really dense foods, especially if we're coming off animal products and high fat. So you fill up with smaller amounts. So when you go over to a raw food diet, things like this is only like 50, 60 calories, if that, right? Whereas 1 tablespoon of oil is 2 of these worth of calories, and it's all fat, so it's going to interfere with your insulin and all that stuff. So we're coming from a diet that we're used to and moving over to a diet that we're not used to. So we have to relearn. If you are replacing animal products, cooked foods, and oils, you're gonna need to replace them with more fruits and vegetables. So bigger salads. That's why I highly recommend counting and tracking your calories in the beginning. It's not a crutch, and it's not something you need to get obsessed with. It's a learning tool. It's something that you use to learn what's going into your body. Not everybody knows, not many people know how many calories are in this many grapes. The reason is because we don't track and we don't learn what is in certain foods. We don't learn what foods we can eat to get more calcium. We don't learn what foods we can eat to get more vitamin C. I mean, some of this stuff we do know because, we know oranges have vitamin C, bell peppers have vitamin C. But did you know that romaine lettuce has omega-3 in it? Some stuff we don't really know, and we don't learn this until we actually start tracking. So I tell people it's okay to track because you're learning right now. Think of it as training wheels on a bike. You gotta put the training wheels on so you're able to do it. Some people can jump right in, that's cool, and they experiment along the way, but it's best to start tracking what you're eating so you write it down. You say, today I only ate 1,700 calories and I was really hungry. Tomorrow I'm going to try and eat more. And then the next day you eat maybe 2,000 calories and you're like, I was still a little bit hungry today. Maybe I need more. So the next day or the next week you eat 2,300 calories. You're like, I was perfect. That was perfect. I felt amazing. I felt vibrant. I felt hydrated and healthy and satiated. 2,300 calories is enough for me. So you do that for a couple of weeks and see how you feel. If you're feeling too hungry, then maybe lower it down, but try to stay around the 2,000 calorie mark, because at 2,000 calories, you're getting a lot of hydration, a lot of fiber, a lot of protein, a lot of nutrients. Whereas when you're restricting, or even subconsciously restricting because you're skipping meals or you missed lunch or whatever, then say you're only eating 1,200 calories. When you are calorie restricting, you're also nutrient restricting. So we want to make sure that we eat abundance. And the number one reason why people crave anything is because they are underfed. They're not eating enough. So the top question I get asked is, how do you deal with cravings? I can't go 3 days on raw without craving all kinds of things. And then when we go through their daily meals, they're eating about 800 or 1,000 calories. And they're like, but I feel like I'm eating so much. But it is because you're eating a lot of water, you're eating a lot of fiber, and it's filling you up faster than a small amount of cooked food. So you have to get used to eating a little bit more often or eating larger volume, and that takes time. Be gentle with yourselves. You guys are just learning. Some of you are just learning. So you need to take some time with yourself and really practice that and journal and learn what's going into your body. Learn how much you need to feel good throughout the day. If you don't learn these things, then it's going to be a constant battle trying to figure out what is necessary for your body. I hope that helps. So yeah, download Chronometer and check that out. I joined later. Can you please share one more time that you use to clean your fruits? Yes, Norox. I use Norox. Woo! I actually use a lot of their products. We have their, these have silver in them, so they're antibacterial. So like when the cats walk on the counter, we just wash it with those rags and water. That's all you need, because the silver actually and the microfiber trap the bacteria in the rag, and then you just wash it with their detergent to make them last. They have warranties and everything. Again, if you guys want links to those, let me know. Send me a direct message and I'll send you a link if you're interested. Love those grapes. Delicious. Do you ever crave cooked food? Because I seem to crave cooked food after every 2 weeks of fully raw, and then it's a week or two of cooked food because it's so difficult to get back to fully raw. Again, this is likely because in those 2 weeks that you're eating raw, you're under eating. You're not getting enough calories in, and then suddenly everything, you're looking for dense calories to fill the void that you've been lacking for the last 2 weeks. So maybe adding a couple extra 100 calories every single day, adding things like sprouts and greens to get those minerals, adding a variety of foods, not just eating one food for most of the time. You want to get a good variety, you want to get a lot of fiber, you want to get a lot of nutrition, because if you don't, then your body is going to start craving things, and we know that the body wants to crave those dense calories to satiate. That's what we did in survival times. We would look for those dense calories to fill our bodies. So if you're not eating enough, then cravings will eventually come. And for some people it's 2 weeks, for some people it's a couple of months. It really depends on how much you undereat. The only time that I ever get a craving for cooked food is when I'm severely stressed out. And normally when I'm severely stressed out, I'm also under eating, because I'm so stressed out. I'm like, I gotta force this smoothie down. And typically it's just all that stress running through my system where I start to crave those old comforts, but I know exactly why. I know why I'm craving those. And that's something that I like to talk about as well, is that if you have a craving for something, really dig down deep to find the root cause. And there's typically 4 roots. There's you're not eating enough, or you've skipped meals, or you've gone too long without eating, and you gotta eat something. The second one is stress. You're stressed out and tired, and you're like, oh, I just need pizza or whatever. So you just throw that in the oven because you feel you deserve it, you need self-love and all that kind of stuff. The third is tired or bored. You had a long day, you're bored, there's nothing to do, you just want to eat when you're watching TV or whatever. That's another cause for cravings. And the fourth would be social. Other people around you are eating it, other people are pressuring you to eat whatever, you're smelling it, you're seeing it, you're scrolling through Instagram, you see it on your feed and everything. So that's another reason for cravings. But the number one reason that fuels all the other ones is not eating enough. So if you're not eating enough, when you're stressed out, you're gonna crave stuff. If you're not eating enough and you're tired, then you're going to crave stuff. If you're not eating enough and you go out for friends and you smell all this good stuff, you're gonna cave. It's all because you're not eating enough. It's such a critical point. And I'm writing a free ebook right now called Checkmate Your Cravings, and it's gonna talk all about that, justifications that we use, things that you can do, how to attack from different angles to help yourselves figure out what's going on and why you are craving. Another reason why people crave is simply for nutrition. Some people will crave, say, like the prime example is chocolate when you're on your period. They're craving the magnesium to help with the muscle relaxing. But the funny thing is that greens are really high in magnesium, but we don't crave those. We crave the chocolate because it's comforting, it's higher fat, it's numbing, all of that kind of stuff. So it's not just the magnesium we're craving, we're craving all of that other stuff that makes us feel comforted and sedated and calm. So yeah, if you are having cravings, I would really look at the reasons why you're craving, what made you choose those, and if you are eating enough. So critical, and enough variety as well. If you're not eating enough variety, that's going to lead to some cravings as well. So hope that helps. Can you explain again why you limit eating healthy fats? Well, I don't limit eating healthy fats. I don't limit them. I eat appropriately. I don't overeat them, and I don't undereat them. I eat appropriate amounts of fat, which tends to be in the 5 to 15% from your calories from fats. That's all we really need. I focus on chia seeds, and if I do avocado, it's half an avocado in my salad with a low fat or no fat dressing. And that's really all I need. The reason why I eat appropriate amounts of fat is because when you're eating higher fat, you're forced to limit your fruit, because fat actually blocks insulin from getting sugar from your blood sugar into your cell for energy. So you want to lower your fat so that insulin does its job properly. And you can check out masteringdiabetes.com. They talk a lot about why we should be eating a lower fat diet and eat a lot of carbs. If your insulin's working properly, then you're going to burn all those carbs. As long, obviously, as you're not overeating, like you're not eating like 4,500 calories and you have a sedentary desk job. Obviously, that's not ideal. But if you're eating an average 2,000 calorie diet or 2,300 calorie diet, and it's high carb, so you're eating a lot of fruit, a lot of greens, a lot of tomatoes, a lot of cucumbers, all of that kind of stuff, then eating low fat is ideal because you're going to burn all of this really efficiently. If you're eating high fat, then you're basically forced to limit your fruit because all of that fat is blocking insulin. So you're going to get crashes and cravings and all that kind of stuff. So that is why I limit. I don't like using that word because I'm not limiting it. I'm just eating appropriate amounts, and that's all I need. So that's all I eat. Absolutely agree with the fasting. Yeah. Again, it's not bad. It's just not the best for everybody. Hello from England, working through dips and dressings. Awesome. I hope you're finding some great ones. Love Meal Plan 3. Yes, dips and dressing, changing your life. Oh, thank you, darling. So awesome to hear that. The Dips and Dressings book is definitely the most popular book because you can just make your own salad. In the meal plans, I kind of give you a guide, and I have shopping lists and total calorie counts for each day, suggested snacks and prompts to help throughout the day with prep work. Like, say for dinner you have a marinated dish, maybe in the morning you create the marinated dish and you let it marinate so that it's ready for dinner. So I prompt you in the book on what to prepare and when, and they taste amazing. Thank you. Can you say your daily food schedule to reduce weight? When I was losing my weight, I was eating 2,100 to 2,300 calories every single day. 10% of those calories were coming from fat, so I was eating on the lower fat end. And basically it's the same thing I eat today. Sometimes I will eat higher fat and I notice it. That's why I'm so legit with the eating lower fat, because I notice when I do eat higher fat, it's really easy to gain weight. So I keep it on that appropriate end. But what I was eating, again, as I mentioned earlier, fruit in the morning, big giant breakfast, like 700 or 800 calories of smoothie. Then I snack on fruits between breakfast and lunch. I have a giant salad with a whole head of lettuce, a whole bunch of tomatoes, cucumber, bell pepper, sprouts, whatever, with a low fat dressing for lunch. Then if I feel like it, not all the time, but if I feel like it, I'll have some fruit between lunch and dinner. And then dinner is typically another salad or a raw creation of some kind that has more of the fats in it. So if I'm going to do avocado or coconut or nuts, those will be with dinner with darker greens, and that's basically it. And I aim to eat around 2,100 to 2,300 calories. I'm 5'5". If anyone's wondering, I know that makes a difference too. If you're under 5 feet, then you don't really necessarily need to hit 2,000. You could get 1,900 or whatever. But right now I'm eating 2,400 to 2,700 calories a day to maintain weight. And if I'm exercising, I just feel like I need to eat more, which is fine. You're gonna find out specifically for you what your calorie amount is through trial and error. So aim for 2,000, and then if you're hungry, just add more. That's how I figure it out. And it's really the low fat that helped me lose weight the most. What's your good food tracker for raw food? I use Chronometer, but you can use things like MyFitnessPal or whatever. Practice and planning, so important. The rack is so cute. Yeah, the little rack with the little, because we used to use a lot of paper towel and I hated using paper towel. So these have now replaced our paper towel because they're antibacterial and they're easy to wash and clean and very saving trees. So I love your instructions on tracking. I used to suffer from an eating disorder and I'm making an effort to not get caught up in doing that again. That's very important too. Yeah, it's really all up in the mindset because it's not the food, it's your mindset surrounding the food. So that again is something that you'll need to work with, like if you have somebody that you're working with to overcome that, something to talk to them about as well. But it really is, it's not necessarily the food, because I know a lot of people who are raw vegan that have eating disorders. I also know a lot of people that eat just regular standard American foods that have eating disorders. So it's not the food, it's our mindset surrounding the food. I use apple cider vinegar to wash my fruits and veggies. Your thoughts? That's awesome. Use apple cider vinegar, baking soda, whatever you want to use. I personally don't like using vinegar because I can't stand the smell of it with my fruit. So I don't use that. I've always used baking soda until I discovered the fruit and veggie wash. This is really easy to use when you're out and about. Main concern with tracking calories. Yeah. Definitely, you're just tracking so that you learn what's going into your body. That's really the only reason why you're tracking. You're tracking to make sure you're getting enough. You're tracking to learn how much you need. And once you learn how much you need, once you're tracking, you're like, okay, got it for today. Okay, got it for today. Got it for today. And you learn how big your salad needs to be, how many fruits you need to have in your smoothie, and what foods, what kind of variety you need to get the most nutrition. Once you learn that, you don't have to track anymore. It's not necessary. You might want to track every couple months, maybe throw a day in there and be like, oh, I'm on track. Oh, I was kind of a little low on calcium. Maybe I should eat more broccoli and maybe some more bok choy. Maybe a little more oranges, because oranges have lots of calcium. And you can look through and be like, okay, I just need to adjust it a little bit. I'm good though. I don't need to track anymore. So you just need to track to learn. Once you learn, you can take those training wheels off and you're good to go. What are your thoughts on raw desserts like cheesecakes and all that? Are they even healthy? That's a really good question. I've had raw desserts in the past. I always feel sluggish. I always feel bleh. I don't feel great when I eat the raw desserts, so I try to avoid them. Again, I still eat them here and there, but every single time I'm like, why? The reason is because it's high fat, most of them. So I'll have a raw dessert if it's like a banana cinnamon roll. That's just basically, you take the banana, you slice it, and then you put date paste in there. It's just dates and water and cinnamon. Roll it up and throw it in the dehydrator for a little bit. I'll eat those because they're low fat. I'll eat dessert like nice cream, low fat. As long as you don't add fat to it. But I'll eat those things as dessert instead of the high fat desserts because I just don't feel good eating the high fat and it's not ideal. So yeah, I've lost 30 pounds, but I've been stuck at 145 for a year. I've been raw vegan the whole time. Just put olive oil in my salads and eat handfuls of nuts. Could that be why I'm stuck? Likely that's why you are stuck. I would recommend eliminating the oil. I haven't had oil I wouldn't say I haven't had oil. I know there's been oil in some of like the raw restaurant stuff that we've had, maybe hidden in the ingredient, and I'll start eating it. I'm like, oh no, there's oil in here. But it's supremely rare. Like maybe in the whole time that I've been raw, I've had oil like maybe 5 times in 6 years. So, and it's always like not something that I choose to do. It's always in normally restaurant. I never use it. There's no oil in our house except for Jacob, Nate's son, if he wants to use oil to cook his food. He's vegan and he does what he does. But if he does use oil, we've got coconut oil for him. But get rid of the oil and use your nuts only in salad dressings. So nuts should never be used as a snack. They wouldn't have been used as a snack in the wild either, because in order to get an almond, pretend this was a drupe. I know it's a nectarine, but pretend it's a drupe, which is the fruit that has the almond in it. You'd have to eat the fruit to get to the nut, and then you have to crack the nut, and then the almond inside is actually not like an almond that you find in the store. It's actually the same texture as a grape because it's hydrated. It's got water in it. And we would eat that. So we wouldn't have bags of almonds, we wouldn't have handfuls of nuts as snacks. We would be eating fruit as snacks. So if you're going to use nuts, use like a little shot glass or a couple tablespoons in your dressing at night with your green salad. And try that for a couple weeks or a month or so and see if that helps at all. Also, increase your exercise, obviously. Where can I get dips and dressings from? Good question. You can head over to the link in my Instagram bio. It says all ebooks. You can use code immunity2020 if you want to get 40% off the ebooks. You can also head to payhip.com/rawfoodromance. That's the link in my bio. But for those of you, I'm gonna share this video to YouTube. So if you are on YouTube watching this, you can head to the description box below to check that out. Do you ever consume legume sprouts? Yes, that's something that we do a lot of. We don't have any going right now. I should actually start some. But we use lentil and chickpea and broccoli, radish, fenugreek. Those are the top 5 sprouts that we use. But we have lots of lentils. We've got green lentil, French lentil, beluga lentil. Beluga ones are our favorites. But we will have sprouts normally going every 2 or 3 days, and we make a lot of sprouts. We eat about maybe like 1 to 2 cups of sprouts a day in our salads if we're doing the sprouts. Some days we don't do them, but most days we do them. So sprouts are incredibly healthy. I believe they are a very, very important part of a healthy, balanced raw vegan diet. I'm gonna move this over so I can read. If I don't have a dehydrator and want to eat raw, should it be okay if I use the oven on the lowest setting? I have your 3rd book and most of them I need a dehydrator. The 3rd meal plan does not need a dehydrator at all. You might have my meal plan 2 because meal plan 2 does have some. It's the green one. That one has some dehydrator recipes. And if you're not trying to be all raw, you can use your oven. The problem with that is that it's going to cook it. It's not necessarily going to dry it. That's the difference between oven and a dehydrator. The dehydrator, the temperature you want to stick around is like 110 to 115 Fahrenheit, whereas most ovens don't go below 170. So you really have to try, it's really up to you. Again, it's vegan, not a big deal if you're not fully raw, but if you want to be fully raw, then I would say either skip those meals, or you could try your oven. If you do try your oven, you're gonna wanna throw a fan, like open the door a little bit, like that, and then throw a fan to blow the steam off, because that's the whole point of the dehydrator, is to take away some of the water. Again, I don't eat a lot of fully dehydrated things, but we do use the dehydrator to marinate stuff like mushrooms and bell peppers, and we add that to our cucumber noodles. So the recipes are tasty, yes. Is cheat day on gluten safe? Well, I personally don't do gluten. I haven't eaten gluten in almost 6 years, and I won't be eating gluten. That's not something that I want to eat. That's not something that I ever will eat. But again, it's totally up to you. It's like, where do you want to be? What do you feel you want? Where do you want to go, basically? I don't believe in cheat meals. I would never cheat on Nate, ever. So why would I cheat on myself with my diet? I wouldn't. It's just, I want to keep these promises to myself. It's not worth it. It's not worth a cheat. A cheat to me is like a $7 cheat. It's not even a cheat. It's a treat. A treat to me is like a $7 pineapple, or a case of meme sapote from Miami Fruit, or a durian, a really expensive, nice, delicious durian. Those are treats because they're expensive, they're rare treats. Those are what I consider cheats or treats. I don't even want to say cheats, because it's not a cheat. I'm not cheating on my diet. I'm treating myself to something expensive that I don't normally eat. So that's the difference between the two. I don't cheat on my diet because I value where I am. So this video is going to be ending in 2 minutes. I know I have some more messages here. Is kimchi considered raw? You can get raw kimchi for sure. Awesome content as always, Lissa. Thank you for sharing your passion for life. You're welcome. How tall am I? I'm 5'5". Chia seeds, do you soak overnight? You can soak them, definitely. I use hemp seeds as well. Coffee, I don't use coffee. I used to drink coffee, and I used to drink 1 to 2 energy drinks every day. I got heart palpitations, and that's actually the reason why I went raw in the first place. I gave up coffee and energy drinks overnight, and alcohol and cooked food and animal products overnight. So I know not everyone can do that, but that's what I did. So thank you guys so much. Finished washing my grapes, so I'm gonna rinse these. Again, if you want the link for the Norwex stuff, send me a message. So grateful to have hung out with you guys today. So happy. Yes, this video is going to be uploaded to YouTube. So if you missed it, head over to YouTube. I will upload it in the next half hour or so for you guys. Any tips for detoxing? Eat fiber. Eat fiber hydration. Get your body that fiber so the fiber helps to pull the toxins out. So lots of greens, lots of hydration, and eat enough. Your body will detox by itself. It doesn't need any forced cleansing or anything like that. Just give it what it needs to do it itself. Love you guys so much. Thank you again for joining, and I'll see you for another live, maybe this week if I have time. I love you. Fruit on.